hope people were able to hear that. There are no apologies today. Before the meeting, all panel members indicated any declarations of interest they may have had. I'll just go around the table so that members can do that for the record. Stuart.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Yes, I have a declaration of conflict of interest in relation to item 7 on today's agenda, which is 55 Gould Street, Bondi Beach. The interior designers for the projects are friends of mine, so I'll play no part, have played no part, and will absent myself when the panel is determining the matter and hearing from any speakers.
Thank you, Stuart. Heather?
Thanks, David. I have no conflict with any of the items.
Jesse?
Yeah, I have no conflicts with any of the items.
Thank you. And I have no conflicts to declare on any of the items. The meeting procedures today, I will introduce all items on today's meeting agenda in order and identify those who have registered to speak on any item. Those speakers other than the applicant will have 3 minutes to make your presentation. Your 3 minutes will be signified by a sound, so please do listen out for that. I may allow an extension at my discretion. Representatives of the applicant, if available or registered, will then be provided with an opportunity to make a submission to the panel and respond to issues raised by the objectors. Panel members may ask questions of any speaker. Please remain on mute unless called upon by me to speak. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be available on Council's website. Once we've completed all agenda items, I'll close the public part of the meeting and the panel will move into closed session to deliberate on all items. Minutes of our discussions and our decisions will be made available on Council's website within a few days of the meeting. I'll now introduce the first item on today's agenda, which is DA 415 2025, 14 Princess Street, Rose Bay, involving construction of a dual occupancy with basement parking, strata subdivision, swimming pool and associated landscape works. I have 2 people registered to speak, the first being Ricky Rosentine Stein, and I apologise if I've mispronounced that name. Ricky, are you there? If you could just identify yourself. You have 3 minutes.
All right, thank you for the opportunity to speak. We are the neighbours to the western side, 12 Princess Street, which is a recently completed dual occupancy itself, and I live in what is about to become 12B, so the direct neighbour to 14. We agree with the recommendations that the council has prepared. The impacts are quite significant with the FSR breach and rear setback breaches as well as height breach. Effectively, all habitable windows other than the southern facing windows would be overshadowed on the winter solstice day, but the excessive bulk and height of the property beyond the LEP and DCP requirements will significantly impact the amenity of our home. So we are by no means against development or building dual occupancies on that property. In fact, we've just done ours, but we do respectfully request that it be done respectfully to impact the amenity of our home as allowed by the LEP and DCP requirements. That's all I really have to say.
Thank you very much. Any questions of the speaker? Thank you very much. Next registered speaker I have is Michael Abelev. Mr. Abelev, you have 3 minutes.
Hi there. Thank you very much for the opportunity to lodge our objection. We have submitted a second objection to the amended plans. We are at number 16, which is to the east of the development. The main issue is that our block of land is so much shorter than the neighbouring property at number 14. And therefore the backset becomes very crucial to us. The amended application is actually still non-compliant and breaches the backset as detailed in our second objection. Obviously, the DA does not consider our approved application for the development, which is the development of our backyard for more amenity, and it certainly will cast very severe shadows on our property and breach privacy. There is no clear and justified reason for exceeding the height. And in that case, our lawyer says that the proposal is actually insufficient to warrant any form of consideration or approval. There is an additional, in amended plans, there's an additional air conditioning unit is now sitting outside our windows, which will also be disruptive and non-compliant. The FSR and are by 10.12% above what is allowed, and also the height. So, it's going to take away our views. There is no consideration of sharing of the views. There is no consideration and mention of loss of impact of the views in a development application. And I think the actual the amended application seems to be quite insincere and quite sort of, I think what the wording that's being used here is, I beg your pardon, I've just lost the word here. Yeah, it's just not really treating the amenity and the actual privacy of the neighbouring properties. So I strongly object to the amendment plans as well, and strongly request that this application is refused.
Thank you, Mr. Appley. Any questions?
No. Nothing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The applicant hasn't registered to speak on this item, so thank you for your input, gentlemen, on that. I'll move to the second item, DA 496 of 2025, number 26 Kimberley Street, Vaucluse, involving alterations and additions to dwelling, including construction of a lift and replacement of an existing swimming pool. Have no one registered to speak against the item. I have Vaughan Milligan to speak on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Vaughan Milligan's my name, a town planner. I'm here on behalf of the property owners and appreciate the opportunity to address you this morning. I'll try to be quite brief. Our application, whilst it involves a number of changes to the building, they're largely cosmetic and improvements, providing an internal lift and replacement of some aspects on the roof terrace. The officer's report's quite thorough. I think it highlights we're not seeking to increase the height of the building, and the existing floor space, whilst numerically coming down, is largely confined within the existing built form. We're happy with the conditions that have been recommended in the report, and obviously with the recommendation for approval. So I'd rather than take up your time, I'd be happy to respond to any questions you might have, but we'd ask the panel to endorse the officer's recommendation.
Thanks, Ms. Billiard. Any questions, Ms.
No.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and panel. Thank you.
We move to item number 3, DA 507 of 2025, in relation to number 163 Macpherson Street, Bronte, involving alterations and additions to existing dwelling, including internal alterations for internal layout, fenestrations, balconies, and addition of privacy screens to windows. And there's no registered speakers against the application. I have Caitlin Roseby, applicant registered. Roseby, do you wish to address the panel?
Hi, we understand that council's in favour of our application, so just here to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions?
No.
No.
We have nothing for you, so thank you for.
Great. Thank you.
address the panel. Move to item 4. DA 434 of 2024, stroke C, in relation to 10 Carlisle Street, Tamarama, involving demolition of existing residential flat building and construction of a 5-storey residential flat building with basement parking, new swimming pool and spa, and associated landscape work as further amended. I have a number of speakers registered to object in objection to the application. I'll go through those in order. Stefan Andre. Andre, you wish to identify yourself, and you have 5 minutes, 3 minutes, I'm sorry.
Chair, my name is Tony Moody. I think Mr. Andre is in a meeting at the moment, an urgent meeting, but may I speak first on behalf of his property, please?
Yes, certainly, Mr. Moody. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your courtesy.
If you just identify yourself in your role.
Yes. Tony Moody, consultant planner. I was asked by Mr. Andre to provide my opinion on the proposed development. Both my client and myself do not object to the great majority of this proposed development. We do, however, have raised strong concerns relating to the privacy from the proposed eastern windows and the proposed rear balconies and terraces. You have a situation here, panel members, whereby there is going to be, in my professional opinion, significant adverse overlooking impact generated by the proposed eastern windows and the proposed terrace and balconies. I have forwarded to you further submission on the 8th of December, which highlights draft conditions should you have a mind to approve the application A and B, which essentially proposes 1.6 metre high obscure glazing on the eastern windows of the main living areas, and also privacy screens of 1.6 metres high on the side balconies and terrace. Points in support of those conditions are as follows. First of all, the original proposal had extensive screening, which has now been subsequently reduced significantly under the current modified proposal. I do not understand why this has occurred. Figures 8 to 11 show the proposed privacy screens, modified screens, proposed by the applicant. In my respectful submission, the privacy screens do not mitigate to any reasonable degree overlooking directly into my client's rear facade and rear private open space. It just isn't clear. The images of the applicant's own Panama pages prove that. Furthermore, the screening is not across the whole of the eastern windows. And the proposal before you to add 1.1 metre obscure glazing, in my respectful opinion, does nothing to mitigate overlooking. 1.1 metres is below the eye line of the person sitting down. So we earnestly request that the recommended conditions that I put forward to you under points A and B of my email, dated 8 December being posed. Can I just have one further point? There seems to be an argument that privacy measures of 1.6 should not be imposed in your report because of impact on views to the east from the proposed development. The proposed development sits very high on my client's development. It has, and I'm showing you a photograph produced by the applicant, it has expansive southwest, southern and southeastern views from the rear terraces and rear primary living areas. By any measure, the views are expansive and uninterrupted. The privacy measures I'm proposing and earnestly requesting will not impact those expansive and panoramic views of the cliff face of hinterland. Accordingly, if the panelists have aligned to approve the application, we seek obscure glazing to 101.6 metres to the eastern living rooms and also screens at the rear balconies and terrace. Thank you very much for your consideration. My apologies, we must leave now for another conference, but I would appreciate your courtesy in considering this solution.
Thanks, Mr. Mead. Any questions, Mr. Mead? No. Thank you. Mr. Andre, did you wish to add anything?
Yeah, thank you very much, first of all, for the opportunity to present the case. Appreciate that opportunity, and thank you again, Kylie Lucas, for having listened to the concerns I raised. I just wanted to make it kind of Tony Moody kind of just went through the concerns on the privacy, and they're really important to me. My home is my sanctuary. It's my main asset. I have no problems at all with the building being developed. I think it's a good development. It's going to improve the area in terms of look. But the privacy concerns on the eastern side are really kind of facing the windows facing my home, and balconies are really disturbing to me. I'd like to kind of remind that the council had approved the previous proposal on figure 7, which has full privacy screen along the entire windows. And we've moved from this to a proposal which is trying to remove every privacy screen in order to benefit from the view at the cost of my privacy. And I think that that's kind of something which I really asked the council to protect me against that, especially in the case, as Tony Moody mentioned, you can really have a win-win by having either a frosted window or blades, which are, as kind of Kylie Lucas suggested, fixed and not kind of looking at the house at my place, but all along the window, because the people can sit at the end of the living room and still see whatever is happening. And I think the pictures are a bit kind of misleading. If when Amy from Clutch came to my house, they really realized how exposed my balconies and even parts of my living room are from this building, which is probably not as clear on the picture. But if you're sitting there, you really see kind of these people overlooking me directly on the balcony. And I think that you could have really win-win by having that privacy screen extending to the entirety of the entire length of the window. Still provides views, still provides light, but with blades which are really strict, or as Tony Moody is proposing, a frosted window. I'd like to extend that request to the balcony. I know I've noted that there's something which says that we cannot do that on this paper, but the same concern applies to whatever is happening on the balcony. And I'm again here really focusing on the southeast side of the house. I appreciate also that Clutch has kind of tried to engage with us. So I really kind of appreciate Amy and Nick to have done that. I think they've recognized the issue. I just would like to go further in terms of that screen so that we find a solution which is amicable and workable for everybody here. The other concern, which is kind of expressed in previous documentations, which I'll spend only 5 seconds on, is of course the integrity of my house. There's construction which is happening, but here I assume that the council has put in place the right measures to make sure that the integrity of my house is protected, given how close the work is to my house, vibrations, and I've got a swimming pool, which is a glass swimming pool, so pretty fragile. But I assume that the council knows what to do on that and put the right developments request on the builder. But I'm really looking here for a win-win situation on the privacy.
Thank you, Mr. Andre.
Thank you.
I see there's, oh no, sorry. The next speaker I have is Paul McGibbon. Mr. McGibbon? No. Not here? Okay, we'll move on. Kim Kench.
Hi, can you see and hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you though.
Just one moment. There we go. Can you see and hear me now?
You just introduce yourself and you have 3 minutes, please.
Great, thank you very much. My name is Kim Kench, and my husband and I have lived at 8 Silver Street, Tamarama for the past 22 years. We are the immediate neighbour downhill and to the south of the applicant. It is to the south that the primary view is located. I would ask that the panel read our submission objecting to this DA and that of our planning expert, Annalise Carlson from AKey Planning. Demolition has already commenced on the approved DA that is in place. This DA is for 4 ultra-luxurious apartments that replaces the existing 9 apartments. This has already breached Waverley Council's own guidelines of affordable housing. Our objections of the breaking of all planning control tests would be less if it was for maintaining or increasing the number of affordable housing apartments. Instead, this is 4 luxurious apartments that are being approved will sell between $8 to $10 million each. They are expansive already in the current form. They will have magnificent panoramic ocean views. Just want to say that not content with breaking all of the existing planning controls and having gained approval for a 15.3 metre building and resulting in a variation of 59%. In fact, all the planning controls, how they've been broken is obscene. The applicants are once again seeking to an amber claim with development planning creep. And this is something that I think that the panel should really take into effect of what's in the best public interest for not only all the neighbours in the immediate vicinity, but also for the general Tamarama community, because it most definitely, there is nothing to be gained for anything within the public interest of the whole Tamarama community. And the interest or the gain is merely for the developers and those 4 future homeowners. So not only, Tamarama has always been a suburb, not about towering luxurious apartments, but one of the most precious and valued things about living here at Tamarama Gully is the peace and quiet. It is valued so much by residents. There was an unprecedented outpouring of objections to the Tamarama Surf Lifesaving Club development due to noise controls. The main concern that my husband and I and our family have is noise controls, because part of the reason that the balconies were designed in the current approved form was by having a smaller outside balcony overlooking the view, that would contain the number of people that would be able to be on each 4 levels of those balconies, and would also mean that the number of parties and the number of people, because when Stefan, who is the most amazing neighbour, has one party in 2 years with ping pong playing, the noise is so loud that you can't even hear our TV. So if you can imagine, we really plead with the panel members to consider that should we be allowed to be able to sit in a lounge room and be able to listen to TV at night, that's, or in the day. That's the room that where I'm sitting now, immediately behind me, 4.5 metres, is where the building and the pools and the balconies are a little bit further back, but the pool. And the noise from that, by increasing those balcony spaces, it's breaking all the things that Kylie set down to do in the immediate thing of trying to address the noise concerns. So there's been nothing in the submission from Kylie Lucas to this panel today that addresses our noise concerns, and neither have we been approached or discussed anything with Clutch. The fact that it's 4 levels up, the noise will just spread. I really like it. Just, I can't tell you how much it affects our amenity. Just to be able to sit and like watch TV, or we like to actually have our windows open. We're not air conditioning people. And again, the noise will just filter through. The panel today has the opportunity to kind of, in good faith, what was agreed upon when the DA, through council and everything, that was basically the only concern that was even partway looked at as any sort of sharing or whatever, was by having those slightly smaller balconies.
So could I ask you just to start concluding, please?
Yep, that's the main thing. It's just that the applicant hasn't engaged us. The only main thing I want to leave is, where is the line in the sand? At what point does this development creep stop? What's to stop if the panel approves this, that they don't come back again to come even further out to build the balconies out further again? And I just think, seeing it's breaking all the rules, the planning controls, it's not in the public interest. It certainly is going to make the amenity in our house so much worse. I really respectfully ask that this be rejected.
Thank you, Ms. Finch. Thank you. I'll just check, has Mr. McGurven arrived yet?
Did you call Paul?
Okay. Right. I have several people registered on behalf of the applicant, George Caravanis, Amy Arnold and Simon Hanson, I think, to speak, and Elliot Dumanis and Nick McCarthy to answer questions. Mr. Caravanis, are you leading the charge on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chair, and I'm the only one that will speak. The others will be available to answer any questions if that's okay. And thank you for the opportunity to address you today. First, I'd say that we do confirm with the thorough assessment contained in the assessment report and, of course, the recommendation for approval. There are a series of conditions imposed. We do not seek to challenge any of those conditions of consent. You will know that the proposal is indeed permissible in the zone, and the modifications are largely retained within what was an approved building envelope. While the building exceeds both the maximum height and FSR, this is a function of the pre-existing building or the existing building. And that, as I said, the increases are largely retained within an approved envelope. In this regard, the proposal is compatible with both the existing and the desired future character of the area, and importantly preserves appropriate levels of amenity for the neighbours. Just going on to the impacts, in terms of visual privacy, there is additional screening provided to what we've already have provided as part of the design, and that is by way of condition, and that's particularly in respect of those eastern windows, which we are not challenging. We do not think that there's a need for additional screening proposed that will affect the amenity of the building, and that is a matter for consideration. In terms of solar access, that has, as indicated by the council officer's report, been reduced to an acceptable level, and same with view sharing. Any impact is considered negligible, and the deletion of the eastern side balconies from what was the original concern is seen as an improvement. So overall, in terms of amenity, as confirmed by the council officer's report, the proposal reasonably relates to the neighbours. The matters raised by the objectors, as I said, on the one side, on the eastern side, the interface, I think, is appropriately addressed by both the existing screen that we've got as well as the condition screening. And in terms of the rear, you've already got an existing communal open space that is an area that is largely occupied by large groups of people. That has been replaced by a series of individual private balconies. We do need a larger area within the balconies for furniture and circulation, and that is what is normally expected in contemporary living. So for all those reasons, we feel that the proposal is reasonable and, more importantly, relates favourably with the neighbours surrounding the site. I don't think I need to add anything further. It's been thoroughly assessed by the council officer's report, and we certainly concur with that assessment. I have the architects here with me if you have any direct questions in terms of screening or sightlines or anything like that, as well as the applicant. And I thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mr. Caravanis. And so you're the only speaker?
Yeah, I'm the only speaker, that's right, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for any of the applicant team?
Nothing for me. You?
No.
Nothing for me.
No, and nothing from me. So thank you very much for everyone for the comments. Okay, I'll now move to item 5, which is DA 364 of 2025, number Unit 5, 1 Beach Road, Bondi Beach. new rooftop terrace and associated stair access and works to Unit 50. I have no one registered to in objection to the application. I have two speakers on behalf of the applicant. Jenny Askin is first. Do you wish to address the panel, Ms. Askin? Or I know Sarah you as well.
So I'm happy to address the panel. I'm the planning consultant acting on behalf of the applicant. The main reason for attending today is just to address any issues that were raised by objectors, and there's been nobody in attendance today. Otherwise, I can confirm that we totally concur with the recommendation of the report, and also we have no objections to any of the conditions as recommended. The architect is also available for any questions that the panel may have.
Thank you, Ms. Askin. Any questions?
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, I had a question for the architect. I just wanted to if you could please explain the materials proposed in the scheme. On the front page here, on the cover page, it's shown in black, and on the elevations, it's all shown in black. Would you mind just giving us a general indication of the materials you're looking to use?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Manos from Dark Studio. So I'm not sure if do you by any chance have the elevations in front of you, or are you just looking at the cover page?
Yes.
I'm happy to share my screen if
that makes it easier for you.
If that. Yep. So essentially yep, so this is the front elevation, which I assume you're referring to. So the idea was initially to introduce some like a darker color for the parapet, and essentially like essentially a painted render finish. The idea being that there was a lot of Art Deco detailing in the interior of the building that used that combination of sandstone, white, and dark grey slash black. As I said, the idea was to sort of carry that theme throughout in an attempt to create like a look that's sophisticated and in keeping with the character of the building inside and outside. Since then, we have received the conditions that the officer has provided. They basically address they basically object to this scheme and instead propose finishes that are more in keeping with the original lighter colors and scheme. And as Jenny has indicated, we're happy to accept those conditions and work on that basis rather than adopting or insisting on the scheme that we initially provided.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Hello. Yes, hi. I make the observation that your drawings are quite difficult to distinguish between existing and proposed work, but we've had a briefing on the council officers on the proposal. That's just an observation. And I just want to check maybe with Jenny, what happens with the restratoring of the building? Would that be done through a separate process? Because I understand the top floor may be under the ownership of, or is it part of the ownership of another one unit? Now it's going to become part common. How will that be handled?
Could I also, sorry, we've stopped the sharing, that's fine. Sorry.
So my understanding is that rooftop is currently common property. So there will need to be an amendment to the strata plan as well, because there's a new private open space area for Unit 50. I'm just wondering whether there was a condition that actually required that to happen. I can't confirm that. I'd have to go back through the conditions, but maybe it's something.
We were told that there wasn't and that you'd deal with that separately, but I was just wondering why it wasn't dealt with as part of this DA or what the process would be.
What would normally happen is that there would be a condition that would require amendment to the strata plan, and then we would follow that process through post-approval. So it might be an opportunity for the panel to include such a condition so that that occurs. But it's not something that had come to my mind when I was reading the conditions, but we'd be happy to have a condition to that effect.
Okay, all good. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'll now move to the next item, number 6, DA 369 of 2023, stroke B, address 7 Park Parade, Bondi. For the demolition and construction of part 2 to 3-storey semi-detached dwelling with integrated parking, 2 in-ground swimming pools and Torrens title subdivision. I have no one registered in objection to the application. I have 2 speakers registered on behalf of the applicant, Bob Mason and George Caravanas. I'll let you decide who wishes to go first or whether you both wish to speak.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, I'll just say a few words. Rob's available to answer any questions. He's the architect. Given that there are no objectors, I don't want to take up the panel's precious time, but I just do want to say, one, that we are supportive, of course, of the recommendation. We don't need to or wish to challenge any of the recommended conditions of consent. The application before you is one for modifications, not a new DA. In this regard, all we're looking at are the changes, and they generally are within the envelope of the building. They're not visible from the street, with the exception of the driveways, of course. And the additional GFA does not result in any adverse impacts in terms of amenity, given where it's located, squaring off and filling in spaces within the building envelope. That's all I need to say. If you do have any questions of myself or indeed Rob Myson, we're more than happy to answer those.
Thank you, Ms. Caravan. Any questions? No. Nothing for you, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7. Mr. McDonald will remove himself from the panel. His conflict of interest is declared. Okay, item 7, DA 702 of 2024, stroke A. The address is 55 Gould Street, Bondi Beach, and it is for amending DA to the approved alteration and additions to the existing residential flat building to convert it into an attached dual occupancy building with roof terrace and strata subdivision. There are no submissions in relation to this application and no speakers against it. I have speakers on behalf of the applicant, Lee Cosnetta and James Lee, and Patrick Nicholas to answer questions. Mr. Cosnetta, are you representing the applicant wish to speak?
Yes, panel chair, thank you. Apologies for the reception and possibly the echo and the attire. I'm overseas at the moment in what was a quiet hotel lobby that's just become the noisiest part of the hotel. So I will be brief. We've read the recommendations of the assessment officer and agree with all of the conditions recommended. Obviously, agree with the recommendation for approval and essentially just here for any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Cosnetta. And the architects don't wish to speak? We're just here to
Not
answer
unless required by any questions of the panel.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions?
No.
We have no questions. Thank you for making yourself available from overseas and for others to be here as well. So that is the end of the agenda, and that's the end of the open public session of the meeting. And we will now close the meeting at 11:40. And the panel will now go into closed session to deliberate on all of the items and give consideration to the matters we've heard today and in the submissions received. So thank you everyone for your involvement in today's meeting. And